G'day YouTube. Warbles on a lot here. Look at that, see? I've had that for a while, nearly 1,000 kilometres. But it's a while since I took this for a ride, so why not? It's a Sunday, not a perfect blue sky. Apparently South Australia got burned yesterday, and now Victoria and southern New South Wales and the northwest slopes and plains are about to cop some pretty big thunderstorms. So, good luck to everybody who says that global warming's a hoax. As it turns out, facts appear to indicate that such is not the case. It's all real. And it's happening now. Okay. In theory, we should be now recording. And we should also, ching, be framed so that you're not getting a close-up view of the instrument panel of this thing. And by this point I pretty much ride it by feel and by the sound of the electronic speed controller rather than by looking down at the speedo. I have discovered that the 6,000 watt motor, computer regulated to maximum continuous of 3,000, but also computer regulated to a maximum speed of 49 kilometres an hour. It means you're not really stressing anything in the battery, the speed controller, the motor, the gear train, or the chain drive to the back wheels by riding it at what translates as being full throttle. And that means on flat bitumen you start out at 49 kilometres an hour and 60 kilometres later, an hour and 23 minutes later, with 10% of that 60 k's done on dirt. And on dirt, as you can see here, I go sort of a bit slower between, well, rough dirt 25, smooth dirt about 30, 35. But anyway, after 60 kilometres at an average speed according to the computer of 41 kilometres an hour, having seen a maximum of 55 kilometres an hour, I returned home with 23% of the battery capacity remaining. At 23% of 2.3 kilowatt hours, that would be 1.771 kilowatt hours. So I recharged it from the lead acid sealed gel cells, which were full and floating at sundown, charged the electric motorbike at night time, and then the next day, between sunrise and about 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time, so we're talking 10 o'clock local apparent time, the gel cells were floating and they'd sucked up 2.57 kilowatt hours. And the previous night I'd been using a clamp meter on the cables going from the batteries into the inverter, and I knew that, for example, to put 750 watts into the battery or into the motorcycle, the battery charger was being fed about 830 watts from the inverter, and the inverter was pulling about 980 watts out of the batteries in order for the bike charger to put 750 watts into the lithium. And the inverter turned out to be 15% inefficient. So it's at 85% of the battery power gets through the inverter, turned into 240 from 24, and it goes into the bike's charger. And golly gosh, the bike's charger, it turns out to be 96% efficient. economy by accident. There we go, back into sport. That's what happens when you hit the economy sports switch by braille while looking to cancel the blinker light. So there we're doing 49 kilometres an hour down a hill. Not much of a hill, but the bike won't go any faster than that. So anyway, as I was saying, it turns out that 68.9% of the electricity that emerges from the pair of 440 watt panels, 68.9% of that makes it through the lead acid gel cells, through the inverter, through the battery charger, and gets into the lithium. The lithium delivered 1.771 kilowatt hours the previous day on the 60 kilometre ride. And the motor in the bike is 92% efficient. So you might as well say that something around 64% of what comes off the solar panels gets into the gear train after coming out the motor. And the solar panels are 1.93 square metres each, and at 900 watts per square metre at 30 degrees south of the equator, the panels are 25% efficient. So 17.5% of the sunlight hitting the panels goes into the lithium battery, and 15% of the sunlight that hits the panels comes out the motor and into the gearbox. So for a toothless, tasteless, mangy-looking, post-apocalyptic, recovering zombie, I'm doing pretty friggin' good, eh? Only costs you about $20,000 from the day you walk into the electric motorbike shop to the day the solar panel shop hooks up the entire delivery system. But it feels pretty good, to be honest. Rolling into this corner because we've got 99% of the battery remaining. Haven't ridden the thing for 4 days. I went to bed fully charged, and your regenerative braking won't work unless you've got less than 90% of a battery, because you've got to have somewhere to put the charge. Oh, I've got to be here for a little bit. Golly gosh. I used to help that fella fly hang gliders. Back in the days when the Civil Aviation Safety Authority used to think I was worth paying attention to. As a low-speed aerodynamics consultant specialising in the weight shift 3-axis interface in real time. And to be honest, I ride this thing like I used to fly ultralight. If the weather's not right, don't take it out of the shed. Holy shit, hope I don't know him. I think I do, he's one of the big black wallaroos. We have some dinosaur juice powered relics. I suppose when the global economy collapses as a result of the Americans having voted to have no government, there won't be as many vehicles on the roads at night travelling by light at exorbitant speeds, and the wildlife's going to think that's pretty good. So I would dare to guess that the entire family of that dead wallaroo is going to be pretty happy with the Americans' most recent exercise in democracy. And for the curious, it appears that 51% of the American eligible electorate, those who were allowed to cast a vote if they wanted to cast a vote, 51% showed up on the day. 24% voted for Harris, 27.2% voted for Trumpy. 49% voted to have no government. Therefore, the 27% who voted for Trumpy get to see all his policies implemented, and therefore, thus and because, the 49% who voted to have no fucking government at all whatsoever, they get to see their wishes fulfilled. Took me a long while to work out why the hell Elon Musk of Tesla and SpaceX all of a sudden decided he wanted to throw his lot in with Trumpy. When he got up there on the stage and campaigned on a policy platform promise to break the economy in order to reshape the economy, and he jumped up and down like a 3-year-old on bloody red cordial, that's when I realised that Elon Musk has become an accelerationist. Now, if you're not familiar with the accelerationists, go and look them up. They call themselves a philosophical movement who, having realised and recognised that the mess we're in today is the collective concerted result of the best efforts, the very best efforts of all the world's brightest, best educated politicians, economists, diplomats, negotiators, business geniuses, financiers. That's how we get to be here, breathing in air with 425 parts of carbon dioxide per million parts of atmosphere. And I can fucking remember when it was 319 ppm in 1961, and it should be below 285. In 1775, it was 275 ppm of CO2. Hello. This is a dead kangaroo. I hope I don't know you. So, as I was saying, the accelerationists have recognised that the biosphere is collapsing. The global industrial fossil fuel trading economy is killing every ecology within the biosphere. So the accelerationists have arbitrarily decided that there's no possible way, in their personal estimation, that 8 billion people are going to wake up tomorrow and decide to behave as pacifists and vegetarians and dedicate themselves to consuming less energy and less resources and acting cooperatively and communally to see what we can do to rejuvenate the biosphere, to heal. That's what comes of talking. It's been so long since I had any cars behind me, I neglected to sweep the mirrors for 5 seconds. Anyway, the accelerationists have decided that what they would like to do is anything at all to crash that economy in order to reduce the damage to the biosphere, particularly to the atmosphere, before any more damage is done, because the accelerationists have recognised what's been frightening shit out of me for 30 years, which is that it takes 25 years for a cubic metre of carbon dioxide to achieve 95% of the global warming that it's going to cause. 25 years. So all the shitty weather that's wiping places out here now today, that's a result of fossil carbon that I personally burned and farted in 1999 and before. So if you want to figure out how fast and how far and how shitty the weather is going to become and how soon, go and look up how much fossil carbon humanity dug up and burned 25 years ago, 30 years ago and 20 years ago. Draw a line between those 3 points and extrapolate the line, and then just run your weather extremes in parallel to the increase in fossil carbon extraction and combustion in the time period 25 years to now. And as I recall it, at no time during the last 25 years did fossil carbon extraction and combustion even start to level off, except during the COVID pandemic lockdown. So you wouldn't know, maybe that was let loose by the bloody accelerationists. Bat fuckers disease. Bat eaters disease. So, doing 50 Ks at the moment, by the by. What did Trumpy do as soon as he gets in there? He appoints an absolute fucking clown cabinet. And as somebody said on a video clip I saw today, when a clown goes into the palace, the clown does not become a king. Rather, the palace becomes a circus. .50-51 all the way down the hill. Got a slight tailwind, see? So, a philandering low-hound child molester is being made the Federal Attorney General in charge of the FBI. A Russian propaganda influencer is the head of the intelligence. A Fox News or Fox TV weekend entertainer, the Secretary of Defence. An anti-vaxxer. False alarm, they turned off. An anti-vaxxer who wants to get rid of the health department, in charge of the health department, wants to stop all research into infectious disease. At the same time, they want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act because the Republican Party branded the Affordable Care Act Obamacare, and now all the half-wits who voted for the Republicans are starting to Google the difference between Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, and they're discovering that although they really like affordable care, they've just voted to shit can it because it had been rebranded as Obamacare. Turns out that Elon spent $170 million on a PAC, Political Action Committee, which used World Wide Web generated data to specifically target ads in a particular areas where they knew there were Palestinian supporters, assuring them that Kamala was going to support Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. And in the same postcodes, they were targeting all of the Jewish Americans, telling them that Kamala Harris was going to support the Palestinians. literally in the same bloody street, two diametrically opposed messages going into two different households. All because Elon bought Twitter and turned it into X, and now he flings his excrement all over the fucking world. They want to get rid of the Department of Education so that nobody knows anything unless they went to a really expensive school. They want to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid, so unless you've got really expensive private health cover, you can't get treated. Basically, the idea is to put a tariff on everything so the price of everything goes up, so there's widespread civil discontent, and the population refuses to give its consent to be governed. Nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts any department, any regulator. Nobody in America trusts the fucking court system. Basically, the balkanisation of America is going to be really, really bad, and that'll send trade repercussions all over the world. I think the entire bloody shitbox and shooting match is about to fall to pieces because Elon Musk has become an accelerationist when he realised that he can't build a skyrocket to let him run away to Mars anywhere near fast enough to escape the collapse of the biosphere. So he's decided to crash civilization instead. Thirsties! Getting some very funny looks from the people riding ordinary motorbikes. Well, I'm doing 49, I reckon he's doing more than 60. So anyway, fellas, yeah, that's what I think's going on. I think all of the flaming idiots who voted for no government by not going to vote for any government, they're going to get what they want. They're going to get no fucking government at all. All the idiots who voted for corrupt, incompetent, nepotistic, self-centred fascism, they're going to get exactly what they voted for because they got Trumpy in power. And all the people who thought that Americans were better than that, see, we're here on 85% of the battery, having come to town absolutely bloody flat shut the whole way. And now we're in a 50 zone, so if I do 49, I'm just blending in. Most of that braking was regenerative. So there you go. I can now come to town on solar electric energy to buy all the bread and milk that's not going to bloody be here, because everything in town and every shop on every shelf all comes to town in a truck that runs on diesel. And when there's no pipeline from the Bowser back to Bahrain or Dubai or Cargo Island or Singapore or Venezuela, all of this is going to stop. Very sad that it's going to stop, because, you know, there are yet some pockets of industrial civilised life on Earth that are quite pleasant if you live there. having grown up here and been in the place since 1961, I'll be a little bit sad when it all stops, but as I figured out in about 1984, it's not sustainable because you can't have towns like Greenland unless you've got the entire petrochemical industry fucking the planet. Somewhere there's a hole in the ground where all the iron ore come out of, for all the coal that come out of a different hole to be burned and put shit in the sky to smelt the steel that made all of these vehicles. And there's another hole in a beach somewhere to get the sand to make the glass. And a different hole for the bauxite for the aluminium. Yeah, that's why it was such an easy trip. Hear the wind coming this way? I've had a tailwind into town the whole way. And now I must go and pay for a $100 recharge for my prepaid mobile phone so I can continue to play it on the YouTube at $3 a day. So there you go, accelerationists are in fact in control. And what's going to happen about it? Well, I can't see the American Joint Chiefs of Staff sitting still now that Trumpy's telegraphed all of his ridiculous picks and plans and what he wants to do about it. So, coup time for you time, dear Uncle Spam. And the best time to strangle something like that is while it's in the bathtub as a boat. So we'll see whether he gets inaugurated or not. Will we not? Okay, 33 kilometres all up, 26 minutes, 39 kilometres an hour average speed, 51 maximum speed, 17 kilometres. There we go. And yeah, if it cost me $20,000 to be able to do that, I reckon it was bloody well worth it. Wobbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.